Quiet.
Mr. President-elect,
Go ahead.
Can you state
She's asking
categorically,
a question. Don't
Mr.
be
President-elect, can you give us a question?
Don't be
You are
rude.
attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude. No, I'm not going to give you a question. I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir.
I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to Dave versus the MSM. I'd like to thank you for joining me today. Now, in addition to this presentation of Dave versus the MSM, we also have our normal Operation Freedom Briefing, which we have been doing and placing on YouTube, or what I call YawnTube at this point. But we can no longer have it on this platform, because if you go into significant depth on a particular issue, not even if it's controversial or not, it's going to get taken down, or we're going to get a strike and we're going to get taken down. So here's what we do. Operation Freedom Briefing is free, and it's at davejanda.com. So when you're done with this presentation, go to davejanda.com. And it's there. Go toward the top of the home page, a little bit down on the right-hand side, Operation Freedom Briefing. Further down the page, if you want to see all of our Operation Freedom Briefings that we've moved over to davejanda.com. In today's Operation Freedom Briefing, we're going to be talking about Charles Barkley, LeBron James, and, well, the whole divide and conquer formula that the deep state has to wreak further havoc on our freedoms and liberties. We hope you'll join us there. Now, while you're there, there's some other great interviews for you that are free, that are from our subscription platform that we moved over to the free side. An interview with Dr. Lee Merritt on, and I can't say the words, the data. This is information the bought-off lamestream fake media will never touch. And it's really important for your health and wellness. In addition, there's an interview with Dr. Pat Byrne. Patrick is the former CEO of Overstock.com, founder of Overstock.com, and was integrally involved in what happened before November, during November, and after November, and speaks about, well, what's on the horizon, what's coming down the pipe as it relates to some determination of what really happened. Interesting interview. There's also the interview there with General Michael Flynn. We hope you'll join us at davejanda.com, both the free side, and hopefully you'll want to become a subscriber and a member of our freedom-based family. Today's topic on Dave versus the MSM is Biden's border chaos. It's all about money. Hard to believe, right? I mean, just go back in time. Months before November of 2020, we were speaking about Hunter Biden and the Biden family and the money laundering activity that was occurring through the relationships, business relationships, documented business relationships, not conspiracy theory, documented, black and white. In addition to the laptop with China, at $1.5 billion, with Ukraine, with Russia, with the Middle East. So it should not come as any surprise to anyone, even the most brain dead of zealots outside that window in the People's Republic of Ann Arbor. It should not come as any surprise that really this entire border fiasco that truly will harm every American is all about money. On my radio show this past Sunday, I had Victor Avila, former ICE agent, incredible, courageous patriot. He's come forward and spoken about, well, his recent trip to the border for weeks and what he found. And in the network of folks on Border Patrol that he's spoken to, what's really occurring and what the bought-off lamestream fake media is not reporting. And many people believe that this just affects the states of Texas and Arizona and New Mexico and California. No, in fact, it affects all 50 states and every American. And that's the little fact that, well, the deep state doesn't want you to know. And we better become knowledgeable about it, and we better make some changes fast. Because our country, our constitutional republic, is on the line. But as far as the Bidens, it's all about this. It's all about the scratch, the cash, the money. Texas nonprofit hires Biden transition official, and then that same nonprofit then lands a $500 million contract to manage the border crisis. One wonders how much the big guy is going to get this. By big guy, I mean that's what was referred to as on Hunter's laptop and the relationships between the Biden family and China, that the big guy, Biden, would get a 10% cut of all those deals. One wonders what his cut, the big guy's cut, is of this deal. A Texas nonprofit landed a federal contract worth up to $530 million taxpayer dollars to manage the influx of migrant children at the southern border after recently hiring a Biden transition official. What a coincidence. The organization, Family Endeavors, won the no-bid contract just months after hiring Biden transition official Andrew Lorenzen Strait as its senior director for migrant services and federal affairs, according to Axios, which notes that the deal is the second largest ever awarded by the agency overseeing the migrant child program. It is worth more than 12 times that same group's most recent reported annual budget. It's all about the money. Then, in my interview with Victor Avila this past Sunday on the radio show, and we're going to actually be having Victor as a special guest in our Insider Insight show to go into further depth on this coming Thursday for our subscribers, so we hope you'll become part of our Freedom family and take a listen to that. Victor, in our interview, spoke about not just that financial relationship, but the financial relationship that the Biden administration has with these non-governmental organizations, so-called NGOs, that are then transporting the illegal aliens around the United States. Now, many of these NGOs could well be doing very good work. But some of them, unfortunately, it's all about the money. And to heck with the sovereignty of the United States. Some of these refugee resettlement programs are, okay, above board. But many are not. And many, as Victor points out, are being used as money laundering activities. Victor pointed out that the Trump administration had allotted over $4 billion towards Central America to halt the flow and to support those governments in Central America and in Mexico, but to halt the illegals and create centers for their processing. Well, it turns out that, and there were significant restrictions on that funding and oversight. As Victor pointed out in our interviews, that the dollars were watched and managed very closely. Biden removed all those oversight operations. And now he's taken that $4 billion and said, oh, I'm just going to give it to the NGOs. And the oversight, according to Victor, is very questionable. This from the LA Times, no less, Tracy Wilkinson. Biden to restrict U.S. aid to Central American governments, set new conditions for money. Weeks after earmarking $4 billion in U.S. aid for Central America, the Biden administration is changing its plans and sharply limiting how much money will go directly to the governments of Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala. Roberta Jacobson, Biden's senior official for Southwest Border Affairs and an expert on immigration, said in an interview that $4 billion will, be subject to strict but untested conditions on recipients. Jacobson, a former ambassador to Mexico and assistant secretary of state for the Western Hemisphere, said that instead of pouring most of the money into the Central America, greater amounts will go to non-governmental organization and programs. And Victor states that the oversight is minimal at best. Now, some people say, well, these NGOs, it's like Catholic Charities, it's Baptist Charities, Methodist Charities. We've spoken about this at length before. Some people said, oh, you must be anti-Christian to be speaking about these in such harsh terms. No. Unfortunately, and Victor has pointed this out because he was at the border for weeks, that the way these operations, for the most part, are being run is not for the benefit of our country. It's not for the benefit of the illegals. It really comes down to a money laundering operation. These NGOs have been involved in, Victor states, they go into a facility and they come out with these packets, big yellow manila envelopes. And as they're going through it, there's another envelope of cash. And these same people that have come right from the border with very little, in some cases, no oversight or any kind of testing, are then chaperoned to get on buses and commercial airliners. Victor went to 3 different Texas airports, commercial airliners, with the general public, and sent to states all over the country, but in particular northern-based states, such as Michigan and Minnesota and New York and New Jersey and Pennsylvania, for, quote, processing, end quote. Border officials request ICE planes to fly migrants to northern border facilities. Washington Examiner. The Biden administration is allowing border officials to move forward with a request to fly migrant children and families to states along the Canadian border due to a shortage of federal facilities at the U.S.-Mexico border. Customs and Border Protection, the federal agency that first takes illegal immigrants into custody, asked Immigration and Customs Enforcement to use airplanes to transport people deeper into the country. This started around March 19th, March 20th. Now, I can't go into specific details because we'll be taken down here if I mention certain words. But in the state of Michigan, in New York, in New Jersey, in Pennsylvania, Minnesota, starting at the end of March, all of a sudden, we started to see increases in a particular issue in those same states. I believe there's a direct correlation. And so does Victor. Because Victor witnessed the illegal aliens being put on flights that were being sent to those same states. As I learned very early in my time in Washington, D.C., there's no such thing as coincidences. It's a huge issue. And unfortunately, with these people and with Biden and many of these NGOs, not all, but many, it's all about the money. Not about the people. Not about our country. Andrew Cuomo's New York. Illegal aliens to get $1.1 billion more in taxpayer-funded aid than small businesses. From Breitbart News, John Binder. Nearly 200,000, it's all about the money, nearly 200,000 illegal aliens living in New York will soon receive $2.1 billion, actually, in taxpayer-funded stimulus checks and unemployment benefits thanks to a budget agreed upon by Governor Andrew Cuomo. While more than 1 million jobs have been lost in New York and an estimated 80,000 New York businesses may not make it, Cuomo and elected state Democrats agreed on a budget deal that provides billions to illegal aliens at the taxpayers' expense. What comes with that? No such thing as a free lunch, right? Yeah. They're just solidifying their voter base for 2022 and 2024. It's all about the money. It's all about control. It's all about power. It's all about staying in power. It's not about our country. It's not about our constitutional republic. It's not about the American citizens. It's not about the illegal aliens. They're being used by these totalitarian thugs. I hope you'll join us at DaveJanda.com for Operation Freedom Briefing. For the radio show every Sunday, 2 to 5 Eastern. It's free. It's live. Just go to DaveJanda.com, hit the Listen Live button. Takes you to Wham Talk 1600 streaming service. Hit the play button and you're with us. Great guests, great analysis. Now, our extra shows, WTF Show, Insider Insight Show, Department of Advanced Research Show, hosted by Nick Ruiz, our Healthcare Policy Series, our Contributing Editors section, all of the archives to all of our shows, including podcasts, are all part of the subscription platform. $9 a month, biggest bang for the buck in all the internet. Sign up for a month. If you don't like it, get rid of it, but I'm not sure why. Because the information you get, you will never see, hear, read, or experience in the bought-off lamestream fake media. I hope you become part of our freedom family. Until next time, Dave Janda signing off. Dream big. Dare to fail. Thank you for joining us today.